Subscribe to the YouTube, please.
Let's go.
All right, we're gonna try to get this walk in before it starts to rain.
Starts to rain on us.
But Adrien, right?
Yes, Adrien.
I've met you before.
Yeah, outside of, it was season 3 at a pop-up. Yeah.
So it's nice to meet you again.
Nice to meet you again. I appreciate
this is about as organic as it can get because we've never really talked.
Right. This is raw. This is raw and real.
We've only said like 10 words to each other. Firstly, you're in the vintage game.
I am in the vintage game, yes, sir.
And you got
Rawk City Vintage.
Rawk City Vintage.
Yes, sir. Right off 34th and Slide. Been open about 2.5 years at this point.
Shit. So, what made you get into it?
I've always loved vintage. It was always something that I've enjoyed coming out of high school, especially. I graduated 2013, so got into it then. Had a buddy at Backstage, kind of grew up knowing their family. And Shane, really cool cat, he had a shop inside of the mall. And I remember finding my first Scorpions tee there. And I was just so like gassed how cool it was. I was like, what is this? Like, what are you showing me right now? And after that, man, sparked some love and just kind of kept collecting for a really long time.
Okay. So you Backstage is this one on 50th now?
Yeah,
little one.
Right there by Whitewood Lanes.
I live right there. Well, I shouldn't tell people that. But I do, so I've been to that place and he has a bunch of cool things. I remember.
Yeah, he does.
I remember the stint at the mall now that you say that.
Yeah, he was kind of over there by JCPenney area.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So did you have any prior love for like, because to me, when I think of vintage, I'm thinking like old rock tees.
Yeah, okay.
That was kind of like,
what?
I saw it kind of come up.
Yes, absolutely.
So did you have any love for that kind of music?
Yes, I did. I actually grew up playing guitar for a little while, so I was always into music. I was always into the bands. And style was always something that attracted me, and it was different. Not everybody had it. Not everybody was wearing it. And then I started playing around with my style and kind of fed into it, so.
Oh yeah, that's usually how we do it.
Yeah, right? Little seed planted and just kind of let it grow.
So did you grow up, what was like your influences growing up? Like culturally, would you say?
So I grew up here in town.
Oh, yeah.
Grew up in Lubbock. I actually went to Cooper. And I was kind of around a lot of different people, Hispanic background, church background. You know, Cooper was cool when played sports, played a little bit of basketball, did a little theater, did a little bit of everything, I guess.
Did that like white country sort of look? When I picture Cooper, if people know, did that ever reflect back on you? Like, I find myself as I'm getting older, 'cause I too like to express myself at clothes.
Right.
But I find I'm going back towards that.
Yeah, man. My sister said something the other day, and she was like, "You look kind of country today." And I said, "What?" But I just think that's the West Texas in us, you know. Sometimes just a pair of good blue jeans and a good T-shirt and a nice baseball cap, and that's just kind of all you really need at this point. So no, I loved being out there. It was just different environment. And it was a small school at the time that I was going. Now you go out there and that place is humongous. Yeah, they've got, I think it's Liberty. Yeah, exactly. They're filled. Their little stadium they got for the football. They got it going out there.
What's in kind of demand right now? What'd you say?
For vintage?
Yeah.
Man, you know, you get a lot of people who love crew necks all year round. So crew necks are something that I'm always moving. You get a lot of sports. Usually whatever sports season is around is usually what they're looking for, especially jersey wise. And then band tees. Everybody loves a good band tee all the time.
It's just, I remember being about 18, so I would have been about 24, like right around that time.
Yeah.
The fucking band tees that I could have bought then for $10, $99, are like $400 now. It's crazy.
Oh, it's so insane. I think about it too, or people will come into the shop and, you know, you'll hear the parents or you'll hear the older friends and they're like, man, why didn't I keep all the stuff that I had? Or, you know, I should have kept this. It would have been worth this now. And it's just kind of crazy what goes through our closets and through our hands daily that you just kind of release and forget about. And someone picks it up and Another man's trash is another man's treasure.
Shirts, I'm like, God damn it, I wish I had them. What would you say is your favorite piece of clothing you have right now? Or of all time, your grail.
I'm a big Taz collector. So Taz tees are some of my favorites to find or to pick up. Love my Jesus tees because those are also kind of hard to find. What else do I really like?
What do you mean by Jesus tees? Like
Jesus tees. So like, you know, you've got the ones that the Lord's Gym, he's carrying the cross, right? Those are pretty popular and in demand.
I feel like sharing this story. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
I searched and searched for one, and I finally got my hands on one.
Did you?
And my ex-girlfriend fucking swindled it for me somehow.
Oh no.
And now that we're broken up, I'm like,
you're in search of a Jesus tee.
No. I'm like, how do I get that one back?
Gotta find that one.
That was a one of one. Because it was like an actual one from the like 90s.
Oh man, I've started seeing some kind of resurface, but yeah, they're starting to get harder and harder to find.
The reprint, I don't mind.
Reprint is cool. Reprint is cool.
It's crazy because the older shirts are quality. Like they feel different.
They feel so much different, and they're not just these thin T-shirts that just. Yeah. You know, deteriorate after 3 or 4 washes.
I know it sounds weird, but you can feel it. Like you can feel people who've worn it for 30 years.
Yeah. You know, that's one of my favorite parts about being in the vintage game is I love, it's cool to sell this stuff, right? But I'm more in it for the people in the story than I am for the price because it's like, it went from one home to another. It went from one person to another. Memories are just consistently being built throughout these items, you know?
Yeah.
People are living life through them, and I just think that's so neat.
And if you allow yourself, you can see it.
Yeah, you can.
So you, is this your full-time job?
It is my full-time job. This is all I do, man.
What was that transition like, just doing it?
Man, it was a big leap. So I've done kind of a little bit of everything. I've been a waitress. I was a manager at Verizon store for a little bit. I worked for my church, worked out in the gas and oil with the family business. And then once I kind of walked away from all of that, I was trying to figure out what I enjoyed and what I liked and what I wanted to do. And I love serving people. I love making people happy, bringing something that they enjoy, you know? And it's cool because I enjoy it too. So it's always good talking points, relatability.
Would you say Lubbock's a small business friendly environment?
I would. Yeah. From the experiences that I've had, just being in business throughout my life, there is a lot of locals who really do love to support each other. And I think that's a really big deal because we as people, we're built for community. And if you're not supporting the community that you're in, then you're kind of hindering its growth.
Yeah.
So I'm all for community. I'm all for small businesses working together. That's why I like to host pop-ups and do events.
You do a lot of those, don't you?
I do. It's a big heart of mine to be able to see other businesses and vendors come together to be able to, 1, network. That's cool.
Perfect place.
2, let's just relate and have a good time and see that there's people like us trying to grind and do the same thing that we're doing.
Yeah.
And 3, serving a community with something that's cool and fun and a place that they can be entertained without having to worry about the world, the stuff that's going on in the world all the time. Yeah, you've got to provide an environment where people can feel comfortable and safe. And that's what I try to do.
Do y'all do the pop-ups right outside your store?
I do.
Yeah.
So right off of 34th and Slide, I'll block off the whole entire parking lot. Smallest events, you know, if we keep them intimate, 15, 20 vendors. Biggest event that I had was our Rocktoberfest. We do it every year. And that one got up to 56 vendors. So I try to bring out community as much as I can, just to spread awareness that, you know, we're all out here trying to eat. So let's support each other, you know?
I'll put you on the spot.
Go ahead.
Favorite food truck?
Oh, that is on the spot.
You have to pick one.
They all have a part of my heart individually.
You had to pick one.
Man, if I had to pick one, you know, one that I eat at pretty regularly is Mijos. Mijos always gets me. I actually just had their food truck the other day. Yanu Cubano, though, can throw down on some sandwiches. They just did the pop-up on Sunday. And Dubs, man, that home-style cooking is something crazy.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Yannick Cubano, man. I know they got new management and new owners.
Yeah, man. He's a really, really cool guy. Still holding it down, got a good heart, and you can see it through the way that they serve their people and serve the community, and that's what I really like. When I look for vendors and I look for food trucks, not only do I look for like-mindedness, but I look for people who love to serve. Serving is really big on my heart. I feel like we're called to serve, and so in that, if you're rolling with people who are servants, kind of makes life a little bit easier.
Amen to that. Is there a big push for like women's wear
Man,
in the vintage game?
I feel like it's from my perspective, I see a lot more women wearing t-shirts these days, and you know, their crew necks and making big jerseys real cute and things like that. So I have some women's pieces that I put out, kind of focus more on just, I guess, tees.
Who would you say, if there's any, is there any like single like famous person or almost like celebrity Instagram kind of pushing culture? Who do you think? Does that exist anymore?
I think that everybody's trying to push their own culture and their own truth at the same time, and I feel like it's becoming so loud and chaotic that people don't understand where truth really stems from. And I feel like that's also hindering a lot of people to be, one, who they're called to be, two, where they're meant to be, and three, it just causes delay in productivity for those around you too.
Yeah, I was talking about this as a rapper. I did this episode with where do you find authenticity in yourself? How does one come about doing that and maintaining that? Like you're saying, there's so many different avenues pushing you, influencing you, whether they're doing it on purpose or not. How would one stay true to themselves and authentic to whatever craft they're doing?
Well, man, that one I can give you a lengthy answer. As someone who's tried to search to figure out how to stay true to who you are and what's around you and what you want to talk about, and you have to go back to the beginning, right? Got to go back where the parts were made. You've got to go back to the manufacturer. So who created us, right? That calls into question a lot to some people. To me, it's very simple. For me to be able to keep my authenticity, I have to stay focused on God. I stay focused on the Lord, because one, in Jeremiah, it says that before he formed me in my mother's womb, he knew me, called me, and has a plan for me. Same thing for you. It's the same for all his children. So in that, there's identity. Now, there's two different ways that we can look at identity. We can look at identity in the sense of who we were created to be and who we're called to be. Or we can look at it in a sense of who has the world crafted us to be and what do we want our craft to be, right? With myself, I lived my life. I'm 30 now. I lived my life trying to figure it out, trying to find myself, try to figure out what I want to look like, try to figure out who I want to be, who I want to love, and then I caught myself still empty, because once I thought I found it, I said, why am I still searching? Why do things still not fit, right? Why am I not finding people who have that same like-mindedness with me? So then I isolated for a little bit. Got to a low place. I've been to many low places in my life. Right? And a lot that we don't talk about. But in that low place, he found me. And when no one else could love me the way that I was meant to be loved, he loved me. So then I started this relationship with the Lord, and I said, all right, man, what do I look like to you? Who do I look like to you? What did you call me to be? Who did you call me to be? And the Lord's a gentleman. So if you ask, he'll answer. But you have to be willing to listen. So when it comes to authenticity, if you don't go back to the root of who founded you, who created you, it's hard to find you. So when I say identity, if you can't identify with who you are, find your identifier. He's the manufacturer. He knows the parts. He knows the pieces.
Going back to the beginning, the very beginning.
Exactly. In the beginning of the Word was God. The Word was God. Which means He has a will for you as well. And if you walk in that, you'll know who you are.
Amen to that. Yeah, I've had a lot of bros hit me up, like, I guess there's a movement of people going back to church.
Right.
And then this guy asked me, like, why do you think that is? And I was like, that's it. It's kind of like what I said earlier, like, there's just so much fake. Everything's fake.
Yeah.
The internet, just all this AI, everything's fake, and everybody's like, what's
right.
real? And I know in my life, like, yeah, that is what's real. That is the ultimate truth.
That is the ultimate truth.
I think you're right, and I don't really like to say it, but I think that should be the basis for everybody.
Yeah.
I don't like to push it on anybody, but like, that being the basis of everything you do.
And I love that you said, exactly. You know what? There's two things. One, I love that you said you're not trying to push it on anybody, right? Neither am I.
Yeah, for sure.
The way it is I plant the seed and I let Him lead. That's it. You hear my testimony, you hear my talk. From there, if you have ears to hear, He will speak. And then two, I think there was something else you just mentioned and I kind of lost it, but it happens. But people are returning back and there's a reason. But it's not just because, sometimes it's not just because they want to, but because our flesh doesn't want to, right? But we're called to. And sometimes He'll whisper and whisper and knock until you either answer or run to Him. We're on the track, right?
Weird how relatable this is.
He's relatable. And you know what? I don't think people really realize that.
Yeah, that's true.
I think people overcomplicate a creator who, if He can create all of this, I think He can also simplify it for you to be able to understand it too. But did you ask?
There you go.
Yeah.
Now I gotta go back to vintage.
Go back to vintage, brother. Go back to vintage. That was good. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Rock solid.
There's a lot of the vintage. I just realized my hands are moving.
That's okay.
Is there still spots in Lubbock that are untouched for the vintage people? Somebody like you.
Untouched as in?
Well, there's quite a few people here trying to do this.
Right.
Is there still some spots where like nobody goes here? You don't have to say it.
I got you. I feel totally understand. No, I think there's always going to be a place to find something, right? The way that I do my vintage is a little bit different in a sense of, I still do what everybody else does, right? We do the little sales, we go to thrifting and things like that. But at the same time, a lot of my business is also led by the Lord. So I guess to simplify it, He kind of does my restocks for me. Okay. So pray through it and He'll lead you to it. So sometimes I'll go ahead and just tell you, this is just what I do. I wake up, it's time to go garage selling, estate selling, whatever it is. Dude, I pray before every single one, and each one He shows up. And it's I either have a testimony with someone to share and I get to chat with someone and lead them to the Lord, or vice versa. Or two, He ends up showing up with some clothes and there's actually some really good finds at the place that I popped up. So that's what me and him do. That's kind of our thing. There's vintage for everybody, dude. There's always a garage sale. There's always a thrift store restocking.
That's what I was going to say. I'm jealous because I work Monday through Friday. The fucking estate sales.
Right, the end sometimes.
During the week.
Yep.
The good times to go. I'm like, man, I'm at work. All these old tech shirts and tech hats. I'm like, gosh darn it, I want one of those.
Man, the tech gear is so crazy. I feel like it's starting to get more and more scarce throughout Lubbock. But when you find those really cool pieces, man, they're just so neat. I really love tech pieces.
Have you ever seen a guy wrestle and you're like, hey, I'll buy that off you, right?
I've always actually been really too nervous to do that because I feel, I don't know why, but there was this older gentleman, he walks the mall, and I guess he walks the mall with his wife, and he was wearing a Tech Starter windbreaker. Nice. And I was just like, man, I really wish I could just tell that guy, like, I'll take that.
That is a bold move.
It's bold. People who do that are bold.
To somebody and hey, let me buy that for you. That's crazy.
Yeah, I just don't feel like I could be like, here's $20. That's yours. I couldn't do it. But shout out to the people who do, because y'all are bold.
Now, I don't know, based on what you're saying, like how much you, basically, what's the most expensive item you ever sold?
Most expensive that I've sold, I'd probably say like $200, maybe.
On a shirt?
Yeah, $150.
And as a non-vintage owner and seller, to me, $200 is crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
That's right. But if I had the money, you know,
yeah,
there's gyms out there somewhere.
There you go.
I might buy it.
Might find it, might buy it. I don't know. There's some tees that I'm like, I don't know. It's really, I think when you look at vintage, yes, there's a market for higher priced tees. But I think it's the consumer who really values it. If they value it, they'll pay anything for it, because whether there's memory tied to it or something like that, you know, it could be sentimental, or they could just really like it and have the dough for it.
Yeah. Do you sell shoes?
I used to sell shoes. I'll get shoes in every so often, but I kind of started just focusing more on the tees. That's kind of just what I really have a heart for, is the clothes more than the shoes. I used to be a sneakerhead.
I was about to ask you what your favorite pair of shoes that you wear.
Dude, I actually just got some Asics the other day, and I think I've been wearing those more than anything.
Those two have also gotten very pricey.
They have.
What's going on?
I know. I bought them and I was like, oh wow, all right, we'll do it. So they haven't left my feet, also because of that reason.
Are you a Jordan gal?
Not so much a Jordan gal. I have a pair of Jordan 4s that I do like. I wear those like all the time. I actually need to clean them, to be honest with you. Dunks, super simple. Cortezes.
My thing with clothes, and I get, you know, you wear it, you do what you want, but like Jordans, shirts, sweaters, hats, like to me it's like wear them and beat them the fuck up.
Oh, wear them out.
I don't really believe in washing anything. Like I don't even wash my shirts. I know it's nasty.
Hey, we do what we do.
I never wash my shirts.
That's all right. Sometimes it rains. You can get a good fresh wash outside.
I guess I could do that. They probably stink terribly.
That's so funny.
And I'm like, I'm scared to wash
that's it. Because you don't want them to mess
I
up.
don't know what's gonna happen to these shirts.
Hand wash them.
I guess I could
Put them in the
Just
sink.
pits
Get a little
or
hand.
something.
Yeah. At least the pits, bro.
Yeah.
At least the pits.
So do you have any advice on washing old clothes? That like hand washing?
There's some that I'll do, like, you know, I'll do a little hand wash with spot treating or something like that. But I don't have like a secret remedy of how to wash them out. Just simple. Throw them in the washing machine and get them washed up. If they're super crazy, dirty and stinky, throw some extra, wash them again. I air dry a lot of my stuff though. I air dry a lot.
Did you see that story of that guy who, I guess he was looking for vintage clothes, and he put, I don't think he washed it, and he got an infection and ended up in the hospital?
What?
Yeah, he was like,
oh my gosh. That's crazy. I've never heard that.
Yeah.
That's wild.
He was like, what the hell was on that?
Exactly. Where'd you even get that from, first of all?
Have you also heard the boom from the recent years? Because I don't mean to laugh at this. All these people died during COVID. And so that's where all this clothes.
That's where all the clothes is coming from.
That's where all the clothes is coming from.
Not to laugh at that, because that is very tragic. But I actually have never heard that theory. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. people have swag, man.
Dude, old people do have some swag. You know what? You see those pictures of like the football coaches and the players with their hats and their starters and their puffers, and they just look so sick. I'm just like,
What do you think happened? What happened? Why did everything get weird?
I think everything just became, I don't know.
Commercialized?
That's what I think.
Or just more about money?
Maybe so.
Yeah.
Maybe so.
Like you're saying, like I know exactly what you're talking about, the coaches in the 90s.
Yeah.
The picture in my head. And
Yeah, you see it. There's a certain Facebook post that it's popping up in my head that I can see
I
it.
believe it's Bill Parcells.
Probably. But I don't know, man. I think people just kind of lost style, dude. Let's just put it simple. I think
It really is that.
we kind of just...
Culture?
Did we lose culture, bro?
I don't know. I feel like it's re-emerging, but
I feel like
just so
a lot of people just continue to just redefine it to a point where nobody knows what it is these days.
Yeah. I'm starting to like early 2000s stuff. Just to me, like the music, the movies, the t-shirts, it's all coming back for me.
Oh, early 2000s
like
I can get into.
I'm
Absolutely.
a big fan of that recently. Particularly in the movies and the music.
What's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie is The Dark Knight.
Oh, good one.
What about you?
The Breakfast Club was my favorite for the longest time, and then the Transformers
Which one?
1, 2,
So we're about
maybe
the same age.
3.
So when
Yeah.
the first one came out, it was crazy.
It was. I sat there and I was just like, "What is this?"
I still have the DVD. Like I don't even have a DVD player.
And you still have it?
Yeah, I mean-
We need to get you a DVD player then.
Man. Yeah, that's one of. It's not one of my. Yeah, it is one of my favorites.
Yeah, I can never get over Transformers, man. That's just a good one. But then once it started getting into like Mark Wahlberg, and I had to cut it, you know.
You didn't like that one? The first
I
one?
couldn't do it. I did it. I think I probably watched it like maybe 2 times, and then I just kind of left it at that. I never continued with anything else.
What were some of your favorite cartoons?
Cartoons, Rocket Power, Ed, Ed and Eddie. What was it? Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Were you ever into like Zoe 101, iCarly?
No, I remember seeing them and like I would watch some of them. iCarly, I always thought was funny. Zoe 101, I was just like, I wish I could have lived there.
Hell yeah.
Because what would this life have been? Like, that would have been
It
insane.
was a disaster.
Probably.
A bunch of young kids.
Absolutely.
unattended to.
Running amok. It would have just been crazy.
Hell yeah.
But it probably would have been fun at times, I'm sure.
I just remember her getting pregnant.
And then ruining the whole...
You don't really understand, but it made me sad.
Everybody was so heartbroken, man. It was like the end of an era for Zoe 101.
There was a lot of us. We became adults after that, I guess.
Yeah, we had to grow up after that. She
Yeah.
grew up, we had to grow up
Yeah.
at that point.
That's what happened.
That's wild. Zoe 101.
What are some of your favorite, like what type of music do you listen to?
What type of music? I'm a fan of a little bit of everything. Right now I'm a little bit more into some Christian rap, some gospel, things like that. Used to be a big Drake fan. Used to be a big rap, R&B, you know what I mean? Some rock, I like some rock.
Christian rap.
Good Christian
rap.
rap.
I'm not familiar with any of it.
Man, there's a guy right now going out, Alex Jean. He's got a couple of good ones. There's a Martina Marie. I think it's Martina Marie. She had a good song that I really liked called 612. Jackie Hill Perry's got some. You know, you can go Lecrae. You can do
Yeah, I heard that
116. There's a lot of different ones.
You know that song All Around You? I don't want to sing it because
Oh, you don't want to sing for us?
No.
No? We're not doing a karaoke podcast?
No.
I feel like if I heard it, I probably would
Because I
know
just like, it doesn't sound like it, but I just learned that it's about Jesus.
it. Really?
It's a Christian song. I was like,
Who's it by?
I don't know.
Do you know?
I don't know, but it's a
Man.
pretty, like, once you hear it, it's catchy.
Is it? I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to If you hear it, you'll have to send it to me because I'm interested now.
Yeah, I'll see it. I ain't saying it.
Is it like it's like an alternative, like rock sign?
Mhm.
Yeah, I know exactly which one you're talking about. I'm not gonna sing it though.
Yeah.
I hear it though in my head.
Yeah, I didn't know it was by Jesus.
That is crazy. I
That's how I know it's almost coming to an end.
I know, you're good.
Yeah, well, you said you never done a podcast before, so how did that go?
Dude,
You kind of forget about it, don't you?
you kind of do. I like just being able to chit chat and talk and get to know you, and
Yeah,
you get to know me. That's pretty cool.
I'm kind of refiguring when I do my other podcast, but once I do, I would love to have you on.
Yeah, I'd
Know more
love to be a
in-depth
part of it.
about Your life and everything.
Yeah, I'd love to tell you a little bit about me, my background. Got quite a story if you want to know it.
And you want to announce for the people?
Oh,
Come out
yes.
tomorrow.
Oh, bet. Yo, Rock City Vintage, come check us out. We've got a good restock going out, and we've got some hats dropping this week with our West Coast Chopper logo. Make sure you come by and see us.
Heck yeah. Well, thank you for being out here. We didn't get too wet, thank God.
Right? I know. It worked out pretty well.
I think we did a mile and a half.
Got my workout in.
Yeah, me too. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Appreciate you, man.